Who also auditioned for the role of Bellamy Blake? How might the feud between Ricky Whittle and the showrunner have changed Lincoln's future?
What he did was disgusting, and he should be ashamed.
And what was the shocking original plan for Raven Reyes? Hi, I'm Janet, and you're on Planet Awesome Movies. If you were gripped by the on-screen dramas, wait till you hear the behind-the-scenes secrets. How some of the actors could have been different. If you think of John Murphy, it's safe to say casting Richard Harmon in the role was a great choice.
I agree with Raven. Should be fun.
Can you imagine anyone else portraying this character and his devotion to self-preservation? Thought so. Well, here's something. Harmon originally gunned for the role of Bellamy Blake. Now, I might sound a bit repetitive, but surely no one else would have brought Bellamy to life as well as Bob Morley. So it seems each actor ended up getting the roles best suited to them. Although the producers never revealed why they made this decision, I don't think they needed to. It's obvious they chose wisely. Talking about casting decisions, the grounder Roan could have looked different. In case you need a refresher, he was the second grounder to become a main character. The first was Lincoln, but more on him in a short while. In any case, fans fell in love with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actor Zach McGowan in the role.
We're all trying to do what's right for our people.
It's pretty hard to envision anyone else as Roan, right? Yeah, but when auditions were in full swing, Jordan Wisely from the Real World Portland actually threw his name in the hat. This became public knowledge after the reality star's audition tape appeared on Vimeo a couple of years ago, and it actually wasn't too shabby. Still, we all know McGowan snagged the job. Wisely versus McGowan. I'll leave it up to you. Still on the topic of casting, if Destiny hadn't intervened, the amazing leading lady Clark might not have been played by Eliza Taylor. In fact, Taylor might not have even been in the show at all. Seems unthinkable. However, the way she ended up getting the role is actually really inspiring. While most young actors have to audition tirelessly to get the role of their dreams, Eliza didn't even audition at all. What? You heard me right. The producers found an audition tape she'd done for a different film several months prior to the Hundreds casting. They immediately had a feeling about her, so they called her in for a meeting the next day. And the rest is history. You won't believe how great the timing was for the young actress. She was near the end of her tether. Her credit card had been stolen, and she was broke in LA. She was just about ready to return back to Australia. Luckily, the right job came along at just the right time, without her even having to look for it. For that matter, so did the love of her life, her now husband Bob Morley. That reminds me, when the cameras weren't rolling, things were anything but dull. Cue the behind-the-scenes drama. And there were lots. First up is Bob Morley and all his injuries. For one, he broke his hand while filming a Season 3 episode. Turns out he was meant to hit a tree. And, who knows, maybe he was feeling angry that day, because he got into character a bit too much. Of course, broken hands heal, but if he hadn't been careful, he might have just sounded very different for the rest of the show, not to mention the rest of his life. The actor damaged his vocal cords after filming a scene in which Bellamy was almost hanged by Murphy. Hectic. This explains why his voice sounded strained during a subsequent episode. He wasn't the only one to be injured on set. Anya's Deechan Lockman got her nose broken once. But enough of the physical injuries. It turns out The 100 had its fair share of internal politics, like the feud between Ricky Whittle, who played everyone's favorite grounder, Lincoln, and the showrunner, Jason Rothenberg. It would be an understatement to say that Whittle and Rothenberg didn't see eye to eye. Whittle accused the showrunner of weak storytelling and bullying. It's all linked to Lincoln's unexpected execution. Granted, his and Alexa's deaths did lead to many viewers calling for a boycott of the series. Apparently, it seemed settled that Lincoln would be on the show towards the end of Season 3, until Rothenberg reportedly amended the script to execute Lincoln, who was supposed to be a main character. In Whittle's words, even that storyline, he was executed for no reason. It was very weak. According to reports, Rothenberg didn't reply to Whittle's mails and communications, and Ricky said he could easily leave the set for 6 weeks at a time since he had nothing to do.
Jason Rothenberg abused his position to make my job untenable. He was professionally bullying me. cutting out all the storyline that I was supposed to be doing, trying to make my character and myself as insignificant as possible.
But wait, there's more. The grown actor's mother even got involved. In 2016, she tweeted to add her voice to the battle. In turn, Rothenberg made a generic statement. Ricky Whittle is a talented actor. I appreciate his work on The 100 and wish him all the best moving forward on American Gods. Who knows? Had these two buried the hatchet, Lincoln might have stayed a little longer. Think that's enough drama for one show? Nope, there's more. Remember Raven's on-screen love interest, Wick, played by Steve Talley? If you ever thought it was strange that she broke up with him out of the blue, then your intuition was onto something. Rothenberg initially said Talley wasn't returning because he's a busy actor, and that it was in line with Raven's tendency of pushing everyone away, which sounds believable until you hear that, in reality, Steve was fired. Why? Because of his Twitter account. The said account was rife with offensive content, from references to his KKK membership to racist jokes, and no one was laughing along. Although the account was unverified, its followers were co-stars and writers from the show, which confirmed its authenticity. That's enough politics for one day. Did you know that The 100 is loosely based on a series of novels? How closely did the show follow the books? The 100 is based on the book series of the same name by author Cass Morgan. Although the show started off the same as the book, the two have diverged pretty early on, and the reason for the split is really interesting. The show was picked up before the book was even published. Yeah, during the first season's production, the later books hadn't been written yet. Now I've heard everything. So, if we're honest about it, the two are separate entities and really only share the name and the basic premise. However, it's still fun to imagine what the show would have looked like had it followed the novels closely. Without further ado, everything you know about the Grounders, their culture, language, and warrior lives only exists on the screen. Not even their name is the same. In the books, the Grounders are called Earthborns, and not even the major rising war between the Grounders and the delinquents exists on the pages. The most dramatic offense by the Earthborns in the books is kidnapping Octavia. Pretty tame compared to the show. In the book series, the Earthborns survived the apocalypse by living in Mount Weather. So the TV storyline that showed scientists using the Grounders' blood and bone marrow to survive doesn't feature in the books at all. The novel's characters also differ in significant ways. Like Thelonious' son Wells. In the books, he's a main character, in contrast to the show, where he doesn't make it past the 3rd episode. The novels follow Wells' point of view throughout the entire story. And, wait for it, he and Bellamy are half-brothers. On that note, the show never confirmed the identity of Bellamy's father, but obviously, the novels did. Wells and Bellamy share the same dad, Thelonious. Another key difference, in the books, Wells was in a romantic relationship with one of the Grounders, aka Earthborns, and had time to move on from his feelings for Clark. While we're talking about Clark, her and Bellamy's relationship is totally different in the book version, since they quickly become love interests. At the end of the 4th book, they even decide to get engaged. Of course, we know that in the show, they've been enemies, allies, and friends, but never romantic partners. So, if you're a die-hard Bellark shipper, then maybe you can soothe the Season 7's finale wounds by reading the books instead. It's rare that a pilot script isn't amended, but sometimes the cast member is just so good, it gets completely overhauled. Drastic changes to the pilot script. Lindsay Morgan became a series regular and part of the main cast, but that wasn't always the plan. In an interview with Cheat Sheet, Morgan shared how her original contract was for 5 episodes only. She signed on, knowing that Raven was meant to be killed in Season 1. It's not that surprising that was the initial plan. If you think about it, she was a complication to the Clark and Finn relationship and could easily have served as merely a plot device. Clearly, something changed. Morgan impressed viewers and the showrunner so much, they decided to save her character and continued to contract Morgan for a few episodes at a time, and eventually for all 7 seasons. In addition to Raven's original fate, the pilot episode script featured scenes with Finn's mother, and it's been revealed that his mother was the original Raven character. The writers decided to transform the character, and Morgan was cast. Can you imagine how different things would have been if Finn's mother had come to Earth instead of Finn's girlfriend? there was another major change to the show's script. As you'll know, the TV show makes the feel of the world and its characters very dark. There's a constant sense of foreboding doom and worry that can't be shaken. This wasn't accidental, but a conscious choice by Rothenberg. When discussing the series, the CW head, Mark Pedowitz, told the showrunner, "If you make what is perceived to be the CW version of this, you will not succeed." Mark watched a pretty brutal early episode in which 300 innocent people die, and told Rothenberg he could go even darker. Clearly, the showrunner obliged. Over to you. Are you also feeling emptiness where the 100 used to be? Did any secret catch you off guard? Let us know in the comments. Until we meet again, stay awesome.